Okay, I think we are live. I hope anyway. Um, it's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done one of these, and I may be a little more out of practice than normal. So I gotta move something here. That was there. That's better. I think that's better. Okay, well. Let's see, multi-chat. I'm just wanting to make sure that I've got everything going up here. Multi-chat. So this ground control is still being kind of a pain in my butt here, because it's not giving me the stuff that's supposed to give me, like, chat. So let's see. We've got, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to bring this over here. I don't even know what else to do at this point, because I don't know how much we're going to be doing here other than just hanging out and chatting for a little bit. Zero Tech Linux says, hey, am I the first? Yes, you are. Savog, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. Rasby says, morning, sir. How are you? I'm, like Savog says, live and kicking. A little less kicking than I'd like to be, if I'm honest. My chest still sucks. My throat starting to hurt a little bit from coughing for the last, what is it, like today's Saturday? So Wednesday to Saturday is what, like 10 days of just like coughing. So that's been pretty rough. Not enjoying that at all. Like I'm feeling better in a lot of ways, but not in other ways, and that's no fun. But here we are. I made it through the rough spot, which was the first, like Wednesday to Saturday. I slept. Of course, this is not this last existing Wednesday, but like the Wednesday before that, 10 days ago, roughly, I thought I was having an anxiety attack, or I thought I felt like I was having an anxiety attack. Come on, because of the way my chest was feeling, very, very similar feeling. And I've got meds to help me with that if I need to. But I didn't take the meds because I wasn't, like I was looking at it rationally, and I was like, no, I'm not anxious about anything. I don't know what this is. And then the next morning, I just felt like absolute trash. So yeah, from that, like basically from that Wednesday until that Saturday, like a full 72 hours, I didn't get out of bed other than to relieve myself when necessary. And then like Sunday, I started getting out of bed a little bit. And then this week is a little better every day. But still on the mend. One of the big issues, because I've got such a garbage immune system from everything that happened in 2016, is that not only does what would be normally a small thing hit me harder, but it also takes me longer to recover, and that sucks. That sucks a lot. I don't enjoy that at all. But I'm on the mend. I'm working on getting better. Pushing lots of fluids and lots of like things like Robitussin, kind of to keep my chest and everything lubricated with all the coughing. But no, just kind of hanging out, trying to figure out what my next move is with regards to the YouTube channel. I've got a couple more hardware videos that I want to get done. I released the video the other day about this little guy. This is awesome. Love this. I actually want to get 2 or 3 more. If you haven't seen that video, it'd be really cool if you did. I would love to get more people to see that, because for the price, they're actually pretty handy. Savag says, let's make the stream a short one, no long one. Yeah, no, that's kind of the plan. Like definitely not going over an hour. Just, oh, hey, it finally showed up there. That's crazy. We've been at this for how long now? 6 minutes? Full 6 minutes before anything started showing up there. That's dumb. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I just been kind of messing around some of that stuff. Been chatting with my doctors a little bit. Been playing a little bit of video games, but not much. I've got a couple of videos that are coming up that aren't hardware related. that are self-hosted applications. Kind of excited about some of those. Going to revisit some old stuff that we've done in the past, just for the sake of bringing them into a more modern day kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of what I've had going on over the course of like the last week and a half. It's like, and here's the thing, right? Like, the problem when I get sick, right, is it isn't just my body that suffers for that. It's that like I spiral out mentally when I start to get sick like this, like especially excuse me. Yeah. So like when I get sick like this and I start to spiral out a little bit because something simple like this landed me in the hospital last year, and that puts me in a weird place in my head, and then I start to spiral out in other areas. So it's been a weird last few days, trying to bring myself out of that spiral. And this time of year is always rough on YouTube. Like every year, like the clear to like the second quarter, ad revenue just drops out like bad, and that makes it difficult to like keep the motivation and not become resentful, which I know sounds dumb maybe, but like if it wasn't for you guys and channel memberships, my revenue would be at an all-time low since I got monetized. Like right now, my revenue is at an all-time low as far as AdSense is concerned. I'm making up with it with sponsored content and that sort of thing. It's fine. But when I log in and I see my revenue in YouTube at an all-time low, that's super sucks. But again, a lot of that has to do with this time of year. And then of course my inconsistency with content over the last month or so because of illnesses and honestly trying to find new Docker containers or services or applications or whatever you want to call them that actually get me excited. For a long time, it was easy to find a new application, a new thing to talk about that I thought was interesting, that I thought was fun, that I thought would make for good content. And now everybody and their dog has made a note-taking application. And that dog's cousin's brother has also, made a file sharing application. And while I think it's important to have a certain amount of options out there with regard to these different services and these different types of services and the things that they all do, there comes a point at which I have to be like, okay, look, we've done 15 note-taking applications and we've done a dozen file sharing applications, and they're all kind of starting to become the same thing over and over and over and over. And there's been other stuff that we've taken a look at, like the SafeLine firewall, the web application firewall. It was interesting, but I didn't like how they were handling it. Apparently, they've updated it and made it better for home labbers, which I haven't had a chance to look at yet. But there's just, it seems like there's not as much fully fleshed out ingenuity out there. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to the developers that are out there doing their thing. It's just everything lately seems to be a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And that sucks. Like I think it's important so that people can learn to develop new apps. And I think it's important, again, like I said earlier, to have competition, or not even competition, but like options. But it's hard to just keep reviewing effectively the same app over and over and over again when the apps are more or less copies of each other. It's hard to get excited about regurgitating the same thing over and over and over again. So all of that is to say that that's honestly why I've been doing a lot more of a lot more of the live streams and that sort of thing is because I want to keep engaging with you guys. I like the community that we've got. I like these interactions, and I like, getting your feedback literally in real time, minus a 10-second delay or whatever. But it's hard for me to find something new and exciting and engaging and that sort of thing. And that ends up leading me down the road of, well, there's always new hardware, but the vast majority of you guys aren't here for me to talk about hardware all of the time. The vast majority of you are here for the Docker stuff, for the Proxmox stuff, for the application stuff. And that's where I'm kind of at a point where I feel like where I have to pivot, and I don't know how to do that right now. Like my content has to pivot in some capacity to start getting into different things. Yoshi says, let's get some development tutorials. I'm not a developer. I'm just not a developer. And even when I was a developer, like I wasn't really doing back-end development. My development expertise, at least at the time, and this was been 15 years ago now, was front-end development. It was user interface, it was user experience, it was that kind of stuff, to try to create a good user experience for a client website. It wasn't database interactions. It wasn't that kind of stuff. So as far as like development tutorials, that's not at all my comfort level. There are other developers out there who are far better at that than I will ever be. And so like I've got to find something that I can pivot to, that is still relevant to the home lab community, because I love the home lab community and what we've been doing here for the last 5 years now, I think, at least here on this channel specifically. And I don't know what that pivot looks like. It's not going to be a complete diversion from what we're doing, but I need to have a new, I think, primary focal point for the channel that is still home lab related, but less about self-hosted applications, because the frequency with which a new innovative application comes out is becoming less and less frequent. There are some that I would like to talk about, like HortusFox, I think is a very, very cool app, but it's an application to keep track of your plant care habits, right? Like my wife is super into plants. We've got plants, I think, in basically every room in the house except the kids' bedroom and out here. And we can't have him in the kids' room because he will tear them up, and there's no natural light in this room at all, ever. So it doesn't make sense to have plants out here. But every other room in the house, we've got plants. And HortusFox is a great way to keep tabs on, when was the last time you watered? When was the last time you fertilized? When was the last time you transplanted? Whatever the case is, HortusFox is a very cool application for that. But that is such a niche within a niche within a niche that that I just don't, as much as I would like to cover it, I don't feel like it would get the views it likely deserves, because I don't know how many plant parents, or whatever you want to call them, are in my community, in this self-hosting community. Let's see. Smain says, "Hey man, hope you feel better. I'm working on it. Appreciate that. I'm just getting into robotics and trying to automate my water feeding my soil plants. That might be a tough pivot." Yeah, like it's it's one thing to be a nerd, and then it's another thing to be a self-hosting nerd, and then it's yet a further funneling down to get into nerds that self-host, and also take care of plants. Like that's going like multiple levels deep in a very niche thing, and I don't know what that looks like with regards to the community, and I don't want micro interest. That's exactly right, and I don't want to put out a video that is likely to tank. Like, and again, I think it's a cool project. I think it's a cool self-hostable service, but it's just like, I'm going to put in, a day or a couple of days worth of effort to effectively get no views on it. That also directly affects my mental health and my interest in moving forward with more projects. Like, I'm not going to say they're completely tied together, but if I have multiple videos in a row tank, that's not good for the mental health of any creator, and it's trying to find that balance of, what works and what doesn't. So this is all stuff I've been thinking about for a while. This is all stuff I've been kind of mulling over the last like week and a half that I've been sick and not being able to do much. And so that's just kind of where everything is right now. I don't know. Let's see. Sorry, Steph von Egmond says, "Hey, thanks for all your videos. I would love you to take care of yourself and do what you really love to do. I get the point of large quantities of new self-hosted applications." Like there's, like looking through, like I haven't even looked through here in a while. And well, I haven't even looked at this one. Let's just do this, I guess. Hopefully that button works. There we go. You see that little transition there? It's kind of a new little thing that I've added as part of it's part of the software that I use. But like when we come into here, these are updates. We've got convert PDF sheet music to music XML files, another budgeting app, a CAPTCHA alternative, another dashboard, execute pre-added actions on a server after a period of inactivity, another port, another Grafana thing, another dashboard for core reader and reading statistics, another knowledge base, another, basically another file sharing app. Looks like we've got a Pangolin middleware manager. That's kind of an interesting idea. Like an Ophelia, basically, it sounds like for Pangolin. So that might be something to take a look at. A script for converting Plex XML data to Jellyfin NFO files. An iOS web server app. Like there's not a lot of stuff going on here that I think would do well as far as content is concerned. Like the only thing I'm really seeing here is this Pangolin middleware manager. But I don't even know if this isn't even from the Pangolin developers, which doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Like it genuinely does, and it might be great. 54 stars, 3 forks, active development. I mean, it might be worth looking at. Networks Pangolin, mock Pangolin. Interesting. But anyway, like that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that there's stuff out there, but trying to find something in the zeitgeist of self-hosting applications that I think is actually stuff that will do well in a broader audience is becoming more and more difficult. So I've been chatting with a couple of I've been chatting with my mods over on Discord about this, and there's likely going to be, like I said, like I kind of mentioned earlier, some rehashing of some old content some stuff that needs to be updated. Collins was awesome enough to go through and kind of pick out some stuff that he thought could use a bit of a refresh, which I super appreciate. Damn it, you're right. Sorry, thank you. I pushed it, but this is an old Stream Deck, and apparently it didn't unmute. So thank you for that. Anyway, I was just rambling. I was reiterating what I'd already said there, as far as talking about you, Collins, helping me out with finding some content that could be refreshed, and then having some other content that I think needs to be refreshed. Let's see, what else did I miss up there? Steph says, I would honestly be interested in the plant application video. I got to think about what I'm going to do there. Just Alexia says hello there. Thank you for joining. Happy to have you here. Tirsa, I hope I got that right, says hey. Hey, thanks for joining. Glad to have you here. Samayan says, thank you for your vids. Quick question. I exposed image and search to the internet through Cloudflare Tunnel and Zero Trust. I implemented different strategies to make them. Is there any privacy concerns? I mean, there should always be privacy there should always be privacy and security concerns. You want to make sure things are updated to their most recent secure versions. You want to make sure that you've got things locked down so that only the people that can access your stuff, only the people you want to be able to access your stuff can. Like I actually did a video. I did a video about Cloudflare tunnels, but then a follow-up video to that about how to restrict access to your applications based on things like third-party logins with either Google or like GitHub as examples, or restricting access to your self-hosted applications via Cloudflare tunnels and only allowing certain IP addresses through to those applications. It's actually a method that I use is IP related. I've got certain applications that can only be accessed via either my home's IP address or the dedicated IP address of the VPN that I've got. So yeah, definitely always keep security in mind. That's super important. Let's see. We're getting some people saying I should do the Hortus Fox. Jarrett says, hello, glad you're doing better. Thank you. I'm working on it. David says, what's your favorite self-hosted app for saving bookmarks and reading them later? Just leaving like 24 tabs open. That's my method of approach to that. I know I've made several videos about saving bookmarks for later. Whether it was Hoarder or Redeck or any of the others that we've taken a look at. I'm still absolute trash about using them. So I've usually got man, I don't think I muted that. Damn it. Anyway, yeah, I just leave lots and lots of tabs open, and then I wonder why my computer starts to slow down, and I look at my Chrome usage, and it's got 18 gigs of RAM being used. I'm like, oh, maybe I should do something about that. And then I never read those articles, and I move on with my life. So I don't have a good strategy for saving bookmarks to read for later. More stuff about Hortus Fox. Yeah, or like Colin says, I did this last night. I was laying in bed and kind of had TV on in the background, was just kind of doom scrolling on Reddit, and there was a video. It was the most recent, or one of the most recent LTT live streams, where they were talking about Linus was talking about how Synology almost sued him, and I wanted to remember to watch that this morning. So I just posted the link in the Discord, so I would see it later. And yeah, so yeah, that's also another good strategy. Is just set up a Discord server and make sure you've got lots of people in there, and just share your own links in there so you can remember to look at them later. That's always a solid strategy as well. But yeah, I don't really have a good solid strategy for that, unfortunately. That's one of the issues that I have. I think across the board. I think because of my personality type is that if I do something long enough, it's super hard for me to break that habit. So yeah, I don't break that habit. And I actually a couple of weeks ago had a neuropsych evaluation. Basically, it was about 4.5 hours of tests and questions and interviews and all kinds of stuff that to kind of figure out how my brain works now, kind of compared to how it used to work. And I got some new diagnoses. One of them I already had. One of them I was pretty sure I had, and the third one I didn't know existed. But the neuropsych doctor diagnosed me with post-traumatic stress disorder, which was a diagnosis I already had. And they also diagnosed me with ADHD, which didn't surprise me. But I guess what did surprise me is that ADD isn't a diagnosis anymore. Everything in that classification is now ADHD, and then they subcategorize that by either hyperactivity or attention deficit, which used to be ADD or ADHD, but now everything is ADHD with subclassifications. So it's kind of like what they did with Asperger's and autism. Asperger's was its own thing. It was high-functioning autism, basically. But now everything is autism, and now people are all upset about Asperger's because apparently he was part of a dictatorial party, let's call it 90-ish years ago, that did bad things. So they're trying to get away from that naming convention for that. So anyway, all of that is to say I got these new diagnoses. There's also one that has to do with how my brain is affected by my underlying medical condition. That's a vasculitis-related brain condition or diagnosis. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know much about it. But anyway, as a result of that, I'm going to start doing some therapy. I got referrals on that to go talk to a therapist about ways that I can help my brain work better, and maybe slow me down a little bit. If you guys have watched my content for any length of time, including even a single video, you'll know that I talk too fast, and my thoughts are fleeting, and I have kind of a hard time staying on track sometimes. And that is obviously the ADHD, the full dual classification of that. So we're gonna hopefully work on that soon. The doc initially put in a referral for a place that I didn't want to go, just based on what I know about the location, the organization in general. So we're gonna do that. We're also gonna do some occupational therapy, I think, that is separate from that. So we'll see how it goes. See if we can't slow down my brain a little bit. See if we can't make my brain not try to do like 10 things at once at 1,000 miles an hour each. Because that's one of my biggest hurdles in life these days, is my ability to just slow down and accomplish one task after another, versus trying to do several tasks simultaneously and getting sidetracked by each of the following tasks. Wow, Facebook, man, just all over the place. So Facebook, YouTube, Jesus. So, yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. I've had a lot of time for thought and introspection over the last 10 days. You said the video that I released the other day about the Home Assistant Voice preview edition, I actually recorded most of that before I got sick, and then came out here to dig through the footage just to see what that looked like. and decided to record a little bit and threw it all together, and it turned out okay. There are definitely things that I wish I had done differently about the Home Assistant Preview Edition video, but if I don't put out content regularly here on YouTube, YouTube punishes me, and it's not just me; it's creators in general. If you don't put out content all of the time, YouTube punishes creators for that, and that's obviously no fun. So with this time of year being what it is, with regards to lower advertising rates, and then of course all of the uncertainty with tariffs, and pricing and all of that sort of stuff. There's just a lot going on that's affecting all of this, and it's a weird place to be in. While I'm also sick and trying to deal with that, it's like trying to accomplish 5 things I've got no control over simultaneously, and not having a panic attack about it is an act of a higher power. So anyway, that is I guess, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I actually, so I guess the last live stream we did was the mini PC live stream, where we took a look at that and got a good chunk of that set up. But yeah, ran into some issues in the end with that, with regards to where they are now. The USB capture cards from Elgato, just the little capture sticks. They're real finicky about the power that they need. And then add my camera into that mix, and I just couldn't get them to work. Tried a bunch of different stuff, had to get a different capture card to make that work. But all of that is to say that I'm using the new mini PC setup, and it actually seems to be doing pretty well. I haven't noticed any real issues here during the live stream. Everything, like, I'm looking at my looking at this. Let's minimize a bunch of this here. This is well, that's hard for you guys to see. I didn't realize that was going to stay. Let's move this over here a little bit. So so we're using a little bit of the CPU for Meld. That's the software I use for the streaming, and then using 16% of the GPU, roughly. And if we come over here to performance, there we go. Now, I don't know what happened there. That was weird. We can kind of see everything that's going on, and how everything seems to be just kind of chugging along pretty well with no issues. So overall, super happy with the setup. Currently, I had to change one thing about it. I'll probably make another video about all of this, but the GPU that's it's actually on my desk. I'm looking at it right now. The 2070, the fans would kick on and off just every once in a while, and it very much sounded like a dying hard drive. So I actually went into the NVIDIA control panel and just set the fan speed at, like, I don't even know what I set it at. Graphics, no. Systems, inner system, no. Settings, I don't remember where it is now. Anyway, there was a setting that I went into with regards to, like, the fan speeds and whatnot, and there it is. Yeah, I just set the fan speed at 20%. I can't hear it. The GPU temp is great. Low power usage, like, everything here looks great, and the fans don't kick on and off. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with that. Overall, pretty happy with all of that. Yeah, everything looks good on the mini PC. Agreed. Hardware Info is a great tool to monitor your system. I've used it off and on over the years. I don't have an answer as to why I haven't used it here, but Everything's working for now. I had to use hardware disk info the other day for something, but that was unrelated to this. I think the plant idea would be awesome. It still involves automation, and plants are blowing up recently too. Could attract a new crowd of people. That's true. That's a good point. My wife got into her plant collection hobby in the last couple of years. I think as a result of a friend of hers, and I don't know. She's got a modest collection. I think. Like I think in the living room there's like 4 plants hanging in the window, 3 or 4 plants in the window, and then maybe a dozen on shelves. There's a few in the kitchen, probably 5 or 6, and then there's probably another 5 or 6 in the bedroom, and a couple of those are on grow lights that are automated via Home Assistant, which is kind of fun. It's nothing fancy, but Home Assistant. Like if we go into, I know you can't see my screen. I haven't got that far yet. But like if we go here, yeah, but like here we can see like plant lights on at 9 a.m., off at 5 p.m. And there's two plants, 2 plant lights there. Like if I go into the living room, living room plant light is right here. I can turn that on and off from right there. Oh, the kid's watching TV in the living room. I can see that. Oh, good. He's branching out. He's been watching so much Brave lately. Sometimes 2 or 3 or 4 times a day on the weekends watching Brave. Great movie. Don't know that's worth that many watches, but glad to know that he's watching something else out in the living room. And then in the bedroom, another plant light right there. That again I can just toggle on and off pretty quickly and easily there. So yeah, maybe we'll do something like that. I can tie in some other stuff to it for additional plant healthcare, that sort of thing. And there's some API stuff with Hortus Fox for identification purposes and whatnot. So maybe I'll spend some time with that here soon. I think I've missed something. Savog says, when you're better, I'd like to suggest. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm hoping soon. I'm hoping in the next week or so, I won't be coughing as much. I'm coughing less at night, so that's kind of nice. That's been good. Getting a bit more sleep, that's been good. Kenneth Moody says, Hey, Kenneth Moody, thanks for joining. Glad to have you here. Always happy to have people hang out for a few minutes and just say hi. If you guys are over watching on YouTube, as it appears there's 15 or 16 of you doing, if you guys are interested in hitting the like button, that would be helpful. It would be pretty cool of you to do. But don't obviously feel obligated. If you don't like the stream, then don't hit like. That's okay. But yeah, so I'm just kind of hanging out, trying to take it easy, try not to do a whole lot of much of anything these days while I'm recovering. Yeah, it just, again, like I mentioned earlier, like because of my underlying condition, it's harder for my body to recover because I don't have much of an immune system. I've actually got more blood work coming up soon, I think, that I need to get done. But yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. Like I said, I wanted to say hi, wanted to jump on and touch base, let everybody know that I am on the road to recovery. It's just taking a little longer than I want it to, and I've got some stuff coming up. I'm going to say Kevin. Ferrara said something there. It's a pleasure to catch you live. Always enjoy your video. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I again, thank you for that. Savog says, I also should make a video about a llama and HA. It's very needed and not much content about it. That's an interesting idea. I don't know if it was you or someone else had mentioned something about that in the comments of that. Oh, it was you, Savog, that said that over there on the YouTube. Yeah, I will probably do that. There are going to have to be things that I'm going to skip in that video, just because some of it's such a pain in my butt that I don't want to. Not that one. I want this one. What the hell? Oh God, it says in the wrong subdirectory there. Give me a second here. Compose files. So, just as a heads up to anybody who might be interested ahead of time, that's so weird. Oh, I know what happened there. It's because I'm stupid. That's what happened there. I've got all that turned off right. Oh, not that one. Anyway, the other day when I recorded a video, I turned off all of the overlays on this page, or on this view. That's what it was. Anyway, so for my Ollama setup, I'm actually using more or less the instructions that Nighthawk has put together here with regards to getting an NVIDIA GPU passed through to an Elixir VM. That's what these instructions here are for on this, and when I make that video, I'll be sure to include it. But then from there, I'm just using this to deploy the Ollama stack with the AI stack with Ollama, OpenWeb UI, and OpenAI, and for speech models, and then Ollama up. So that's the AI stack that I'm using with regard to this. If I go into like automations and scene, no. If I go into devices and services, this Ollama right here. Oh, that's not it. But basically, you can click on add a service, put in your Ollama URL for that, and then you can get information about what you want to do with that. I can say, turn off the studio lights, and then maybe it'll work. We'll see. Yeah, there we go. Hey, Jarvis, turn on the studio lights.
Turned on the lights.
There we go. So you can see I can interact with that two different ways, either via text or via the Home Assistant voice preview edition thing. So I may do a more in-depth thing about getting Ollama set up in that. I don't know if you saw. I've also got OpenAI conversation in here. It doesn't work very well with the way I've got it set up, so I'm not going to probably do that. I've enjoyed your content for over 3 or 4 years. Had my own V system a while back before I took a job out of state. Mohammed says, "What GPU are you using with Ollama?" I'm using an RTX 2070 for my GPU with that. If I was using a 30 or a 40 series, it might go faster. But I am cheap and I don't have the extra money to just blow right now on a GPU that I don't necessarily need. So I'm using a 2070 and the HL15 back here so that I can have some local AI. It also does my Plex transcoding, so so there's that. So if it's transcoding what the kid is watching, then that would also impact its ability to respond quickly. But that's the GPU I'm using. With regards to the model that I'm using, that's a good question. I don't remember. Damn it. No, where'd you go? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where. One entity. I'm using Llama 3.2 for that. I've tried some of these others and didn't have as good results. So between Llama 3.2 and the instructions, the intent instructions that I've given it here, that's how I've got, like the snarkiness of this, like you saw in the video where it'll just kind of talk trash to me. It was kind of a balancing act of finding instructions that would not only be snarky and kind of have a bad attitude towards me, which was absolutely deliberate, but to also, but would also actually do the task. It was walking a very fine line, because it would either be like, okay, I've done that for you and do the job, or call me every nasty thing in the book and then not do the job. So I had to tweak this quite a bit. I actually used AI to help me rewrite some of it, to find that balance of snark and effectiveness. I still run into issues every once in a while, though, where if I have kind of a long back and forth with the device, it'll start hallucinating. I guess it's hallucinating. Like it will start saying, well, you don't even know how to use your Home Assistant, and these devices don't work, and it will list off every device in my house. And I can fix that by unplugging it and plugging it back in. But yeah, so I'm using Llama 3.2. The intent instructions that I have here, that is linked in the video description for the Home Assistant PE video. So that's what I've currently got set up, but I probably should make some content about that. Excuse me. I planned on, I originally, what really got me interested in doing the voice assistant PE thing is a creator that I watch, Paul Hibbert, did something with his, that I really, really liked, but he didn't explain how he did it. He used ChatGPT to do his setup, and he did some crazy stuff, and that's kind of what got me interested in it, where it was basically creating its own scenes within Home Assistant to do different things, and I'm able to do that to a certain degree with this setup. And I originally installed the OpenAI stuff because I wanted to go that route, but I just decided to bring it all in house and have it handled by Llama, just so that I could have everything in house and not rely on an internet connection to turn things on and off with this device. So, Mohammed says, me, Jarvis, go ahead, turn on the studio lights. Jarvis, why don't you do it yourself? I've had responses very, very similar to that. Like, let me do this real quick. I'll just hold it up here, so you can hear it. Hey Jarvis. I'm done recording in the studio, so let's turn off the lights.
The lights are off. You managed to complete the task without burning yourself or setting anything on fire. Congratulations, you won.
Hey Jarvis. I lied about being done in the studio, so turn the lights back on.
The lights are back on, because you clearly needed them to be. Next thing you know, you'll be trying to tell me the sky is blue and I'll have to correct you.
So, a lot of snark like that, and I actually really have always really wanted something like that. Since I saw Iron Man, since I played Watch Dogs Legion and with Bagley, I've always wanted snarkiness like that. So, really actually happy to have something like that actually works. Anyway, Jorge Gomez says hello. Good morning. Glad to have you here. Always glad to see familiar faces here in the chat. Need more water. what was it? Oh, Savog says I'm using Nabu-Casa for AI right now. I thought about that, but again, I didn't want to spend the $5 or $6 a month or whatever for the Nabu-Casa subscription. So I was able to just tie it into my Plex server. No, I mean, not. It's on the same VM as my Plex server, so they can share that GPU pretty easily. How's the range on that? Like, can I have it sitting on the TV stand in the living room? It's about 6 feet off the couch. I think the biggest thing is the biggest issue that I have with it is if I say, "Hey, assistant," too fast, you kind of have to enunciate a little bit more than normal. I have to say, "Hey, assistant," and then it will almost always activate. Oh, thank you. Did you put honey in it? Oh shit. No, don't worry about it. It's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. She brought me tea. But anyway, I think that's the biggest thing is being sure to say, "Hey, assistant," instead of "Hey, assistant." That's been a big thing for me anyway, as far as getting the effectiveness that I'm looking for it to recognize me. Outside of that, it seems to do pretty well. I don't know. I guess I like when, okay, so early, like Wednesday, Thursday, and I think a little bit into Friday, I was doing some testing with this when I first got sick, and I was posting a bunch of stuff, a bunch of like demo videos in the Discord, where I was laying in bed and I was just messing with it, and I think that's a fun little wheeze that just started. That's good. If the TV was on, it was a bit more likely to keep listening. However, if we come in, let me see if I can find it. I know you can't see my screen right now. It's fine. Oh, here we go. Here's the other thing you can do. So, geez, let's see if I cough that wheeze out of there. So, this is the control panel page for the Home Assistant preview, whatever, right? And we can see device info. We click Setup Assistant and go through that process. It's like 4 steps. It's not a big deal. We can adjust the volume of the device for its broadcast volume. And then if you come down to right here, you can switch the assistant right here, which I love. And then the finished speaking detection can be default, relaxed, or aggressive. Now, I haven't actually tried it on the other settings, so I've only used it on default. I don't know what that is going to, I don't know how much more relaxed or how much more aggressive these settings are than the current setting. But, like just so we can hold this up, like I can turn that light on and off with just a click. I can have the wake sound turn on and off. I can change on the fly what options I have for the wake word. And it was funny, like when I was demonstrating all of this to my wife the other day, she's like, I really like that these are such obscure, different words than the others that are out there, because you're less likely to say Jarvis or Mycroft or Nabu. And it was like, no, that was literally the point. I actually read somewhere, I think in some of their documentation or something, that was literally the point, was because you're less likely to get false triggers with these words. I'm hoping that eventually they allow us to rename them something else or give us more options. But yeah, there's lots and lots of options in here that you can kind of tweak on the fly. There was one thing. Oh, you sure can. I actually didn't realize this at first. You can actually like spin your finger on this and adjust the volume this way as well, I believe. Maybe, I don't know. I saw somebody else doing it and it seemed to work for them. But anyway, that's kind of what's going on here. I really should just make a dedicated video about getting, like Ollama, this whole stack installed via Docker, and then adding it to Home Assistant, into the integration here with Ollama, then adding that Ollama instance to this, and adding the Home Assistant voice to that, and adding the Ollama to the voice assistant. I really should make that video. I think that would probably do pretty well. Even if you skip over the Home Assistant, being able to, type stuff into the dashboard or whatever, like from here, and even in here you can change. I can say set studio lights to green, and then there you go. So, and you can just I can do like red. That was weird. I don't know why those changed. That was strange. And let's just go back to blue. There we go. So just real quick and simple, being able to type in commands or use your voice to give commands to your Home Assistant, actually pretty cool. Super, super helpful in some regards. Excuse me. But yeah, that's kind of where that is. I definitely have more content to make. But again, the issue that I run into is that, not everybody's into AI, not everybody's into plants, so I gotta figure out ways to make it engaging, to make it interesting, whatever, for everybody. And that's I think where I often fall on my face, is that the reality is, believe it or not, I'm not an interesting person. I don't have a lot of hobbies, I don't have a lot of interests. And so for me to try to fake that on the YouTube channel is real difficult for me. So yeah, it's just one of those things that hopefully I can get some of my upcoming therapies and whatnot can kind of help me readjust in my brain, and hopefully make more interesting, more better content for you guys, because let's see. Alexi says, you're a knowledgeable person. I have the same problem with not having many hobbies. Yeah, here's the problem is I've repeatedly had this issue of turning my hobbies into income streams. And then those income streams take over my life. And so what once used to be a hobby is no longer a hobby. It's how I make money. I did it with websites. I've done it with this, and it's weird to not being able to separate the two. It's like if I find something that I'm really interested in, I'm like, well, why don't I just make money this way? And then it's like, well, now I have to do this thing. Now I have to do this to continue making money. And that's, I keep doing this to myself. I need to find a hobby that I enjoy doing, that there's zero chance I'll ever make money on. One of those for a while anyway was playing Rocksmith. I've got a bass guitar in there that I bought a few years ago. Because when I was in my early 20s, I played bass a little bit in a band. I was never good, but I kind of filled in the low end for the band where I could. And I always enjoyed that. I missed it for a long time. And so here a few years ago, I decided to buy a secondhand, new to me bass, and then got into Rocksmith, and really enjoyed that for a couple of years. In these ebbs and flows of interest. It's still sitting in the living room. I've still got the game set up, but I just haven't touched it in a really long time. So I got to find a hobby that I can't make money on. So I got to figure that out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Brennan says, "Hey Dave, good to see you doing better from the illness. I thank you, appreciate it. I'm working on it. Still struggling with it a bit, but trying to do a little bit better." Alexi says, "I know that feeling with turning hobbies into money streams. The biggest hobby was my job, but I don't mind it for one hobby." Yeah, I do this weird thing where like I feel like if I'm not creating content or if I'm not learning about a new Docker container, a new hosting service, a new thing that's directly impacting my ability to make content for the YouTube channel, I feel like I'm wasting my time, and I should be doing more research about self-hosting. I should be doing more research about how I can improve my streams, and I should more research about how I can make my content more enjoyable. I should be looking up new editing techniques. I should be doing like everything kind of ends up tying back to creating content. Let's see. I'm missing some stuff here. Maybe give small cat sailing a try. Great for overall health and wellness. Small cat sailing. Oh, interesting. Oh, cat meaning catamaran. I gotcha. Okay. Sorry, I've got cats, and I was really confused. So I actually have my wife has an inflatable stand-up board, and I've got a kayak that we bought a few years ago, and then things just kept falling apart. They've never been used. They've never been inflated. They've never been put on the water. We've got them, but we just haven't had a chance to do anything with it. Hiking is not something you can make money on. Give me 60 days, and I will figure out how to do that. Here's the thing: you're both absolutely right. I should be doing stuff outdoors, but the weather lately has sucked. In fact, what am I looking for? Can I find it here? No, of course not. We got 2 inches of snow yesterday here in Colorado Springs, and that screws things up a bit. It was 74 2 days ago, and then we got snow yesterday, and it may try to snow again more today. So that's Colorado for you. Recommend the Hobie Wave. What is a Hobie Wave sailing? Oh, interesting. It looks kind of cool. See here's the issue. And just to show, there it is. That's the Hobie Wave. The problem that I have, I'm terrified of water. I don't swim well. I went paddleboarding a few years ago with my wife. She really wanted to try it out. So we went and rented some paddle boards, went out on the water, and I was just crapping myself the whole time. I'm terrified of water. I'm sure I'll figure something out. I need to be out more. I need to do more walking, hiking, that sort of stuff. I need to lose more weight, and I need to get my cardio game back up. I need to rebuild my lungs, those sorts of things. And I think hiking is probably more my speed. Peter says, happy Saturday from Montreal. Thanks for joining. Glad to have you here. You sail on the back of a cat, toss them in the water, right? Maybe you could take your actual cat sailing. I've got a couple that I think might do okay. Fear of water, definitely not a lot of fun. It was wonderful. Colorado mountains also. We've got some really cool spots relatively close to where I am, that that are good for hiking and low impact stuff, that sort of thing. The one of the issues, and I know I'm making excuses when I say this. A couple of the spots that we've gone in the past that we like to go to is like an hour each way. So call it a 2-hour drive round trip. When we drop the kid off to do his daily activities, his ABA therapy, whatever, his days are from 9 to 2, so that's 5 hours, which gives us like 3 hours, which isn't necessarily bad, especially early on. But yeah, it's hard to do some of the things that we want to do because his days are so short, and because he requires assistance with literally every aspect of everything he does, it makes it difficult to find people who are capable of helping him with those things. That we can trust in our house, that we can trust with him, because he is nonverbal. He can't tell us if something goes wrong. So there's always a certain amount of fear with that, and then with some of the other stuff going on, some of the other things that have been said by people higher up in power recently about people with my child's condition gives us uncertainty about trusting people. We have taken him hiking in the past when he was much smaller. And at that point, if he decided to be a douche, we could literally just pick him up and take him where we were going because he didn't weigh much. But now he's 6 feet tall and 180 pounds. And if he decides he doesn't want to do something, he's not going to do it. And there have been multiple times where we have, in fact, there was one time we decided to go to the zoo. We had taken him to the zoo in the past and he really enjoyed it. And we got to the zoo this one time and we paid and we went in and we got 100 yards in when he decided he didn't want to be at the zoo anymore and had a complete meltdown. I don't blame him necessarily for it. There's a lot of people there. It was a lot going on. And he got overstimulated and had a meltdown. But to drive out an hour and have him douche out, it's not great for family morale, So sometimes it can be difficult with that kind of stuff. So, let's see, start my day here in the morning, 30 degrees. Yeah. No, we've had, like I said, it was, what is like 74 F to C. So the other day it was 23 degrees Celsius, that's 74 degrees Fahrenheit. When I went to bed, and then it was like 1 or 2 degrees C, or like barely above freezing. The next morning when I woke up, it dropped like 40 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 20 degrees Celsius overnight. We had snow, so that was fun. Jorge says, I know what you're talking about. I'm the same boat with my kid. Can't even take him for a walk. Yeah, no, it can be difficult once he's made up his mind. If he doesn't want to do something, there's really nothing you can do to make him do that. With his severity of autism, with him, most things are very transactional. And I'm not trying to be rude or mean or anything. It's just with him, if he doesn't find enjoyment in doing something, if he doesn't feel like he's going to get a treat for doing something, if he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to do it. So yeah, it can be real pain. And he's very much nonverbal. His receptive isn't. It's not great. He's got an AAC device, a phone with an application on it that he uses to communicate his needs with us. Lots of self-harm. I guess I'm fortunate we don't have the downs to go with it. But yeah, no, there's been a lot of SIB, self-injurious behavior, meltdowns in public, especially again with the way things are going. We don't know if we take him out into public and he has a meltdown. We don't know how the authorities are going to handle that. We don't know how other people are going to handle that. We don't know. We don't know if he's going to melt down, somebody's going to call the cops, and then the worst happens, because that has happened recently. Not with us, thankfully. There was a young child, or a child anyway, with autism in, I believe, northern Idaho, who was having a meltdown, and their neighbors called, thinking they were doing the right thing, and given the circumstances, they did the right thing. The cops, however, unalived that child on the other side of a fence because they didn't know how to handle it. So we live in a bit of fear about taking him places to do different things because we don't know how things are going to go, and that gives us a lot of anxiety. So so we're trying to work with that, and look, and here's the thing, right? Over the course of the last, since like February, my understanding is that the kid had a knife. I don't know what kind of knife, but nobody other than that kid was in any immediate danger. The cops, like I said, were on the other side of a fence. It was a chain link fence, based on what I know, so they could see what was going on, and they just, it was an awful situation. So we have a lot of reluctancy to go out and do certain things because if our kid gets overstimulated, he might have a meltdown, and he might aggress violently. Thomas, you're right. That it was absolutely a training problem. It was a lack of training problem. Like my wife and I both on our cars have stickers that are like, hey, there's a person with autism in this vehicle. This person may not respond appropriately given the circumstance. Basically, like, you've been warned. This is a thing that may happen. You've been warned. And not a threatening warning, but just like, FYI, this is something that you need to be aware of. So, but it's if we're out at a park, we don't have stickers on us, right? So, Brendan says, I didn't see the knife because of the distance of the footage, but the kid was on the other side of the fence. Yeah, he was absolutely on the other side of the fence, and it was so uncalled for, so uncalled for. Anyway, let's move on. So anywho, so anyway, so more content coming up. I guess I'll do the Hortus Fox video, and see. I wonder. I'm just curious now. Mindbend. Thanks for joining, dude. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Oh, awesome, Omar. Go have fun with your hike. That sounds like a good time. It's not what I wanted. Device services. Is there oh, darn. I was hoping to see if maybe there was like a Hortus Fox integration, which would be kind of surprising, but let's see. Hortus Fox. So yeah, this is well, I guess we'll do this launch demo. Let's see here. Oops, geez, demo. Whoa. What? Oh, because I typed in the wrong. I read that wrong. I read the password as demo instead of test. So anyway, you can kind of break it out by plants, locations, users. Balcony, come into here. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, here we go. So you can add pictures. You can add an API to this so that it will. You can take a picture of your plant. If you don't know what it is, it can help identify what the plant is. It'll fill in some of this stuff, or you can fill in some of this stuff. Leave notes, photos, plant logs, adding entries. You can say when you did stuff. History. Do you want to perform? Okay, I don't. Weird. I don't know. Huh. Oh, don't want to. Oh, that's weird. Huh. Thomas says I got to the beach, but it's New York. 3 cats and plants. Oh. So we've got, I think, a couple of dozen plants and 6 cats, and we very rarely have too many issues. Dude, thank you, Collins, for that, for the gift. I think you also did one earlier on Twitch. So thank you, Collins, for your continued support. Really do appreciate that. One of these days, I'm going to remember to update the videos up there with everything. I need to do that. I've been really slacking on that. But yeah, no. Oh, looks like Ben is here. Ben Snack Time is here. Magnus D is here. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. But anyway, yeah, we've got a couple of dozen plants and a half a dozen cats, and we rarely ever have issues. Our cats are pretty well behaved overall. But I can also say I think part of that has to do with our cats are indoor-outdoor cats. So if they want to go be jerks to plants, they can go do that outside. Like every once in a while, we'll find a leaf that's been bitten. We do have one cat that really loves the spider plant that my wife has in the bedroom. We had to move a bunch of stuff around. I don't know why I'm on this screen. So we had to move things around a little bit to keep her from chewing on that plant. But other than that, other than sitting on the different strings of, we've got a string of pearls and a string of bananas or pickles or something. And sometimes they'll like to sit on those. The 3 I've like to eat the plant. Yeah. And I think that's it. And I think, look, here's the thing. I understand that it's not always a good idea to have indoor-outdoor cats for lots of different reasons. So especially depending on where you live, all kinds of stuff can play into that. Ours are indoor-outdoor, and they chew on stuff out. Like we got rose bushes that one of them really likes to chew on. It's the same one that chews on the spider plant. Should we call her dummy? Like she's just such a dumb cat. But she's very sweet. She's just very, very dumb. But yeah, so that's anyway, we'll probably make a video about Hortus Fox. We'll probably make a video about getting AI tied into Home Assistant for the sake of either using it by typing or by using the Home Assistant PE. Though I wonder, now that I think about it, what is... Oh, interesting. Okay. My cats are addicted to catnip. Yeah. We've got a couple of different types of catnip that we use. We've actually got a catnip spray that's really cool. And we've had some of the just like the dried out regular catnip, but we very often go for the spray because we can spray their toys and stuff, and then they'll go play with that somewhere else. That usually works pretty well. Also, I need to look at this now that I think about it. Like this, like I clicked the microphone there, and it's like your connection to Home Assistant is not secured using HTTPS. This causes browsers to block Home Assistant from accessing the microphone. Use the Home Assistant app or visit the documentation to learn how to use a secure URL. So, anyway, yeah, so I got to figure that out. I got to switch that up a little bit to get all that to work. Let's see. Put catnip on your other cats. Oh, we do that all the time. I got one cat that I deliberately spray his butt every time, mostly because he walks in circles, which is hilarious. Backwards, of course, because he's chasing his butt. But yeah, no, we do that every once in a while. Do you ever let your cats in your room? Yeah, I think there are probably 3 or 4 cats on my bed right now. 2, 3 of them sleep with us pretty regularly. One of them always sleeps at the foot of the bed. One of them pretty regularly just sleeps on me, which is fine because she doesn't weigh anything. And then the other one he's kind of a jerk. He will either sleep at the foot of the bed or like I'm a side sleeper, I always have been. He'll either sleep at the foot of the bed or like he'll come up and like curl up like right next to me, like his head on my arm. And we'll sleep curled up like that. Or he will just walk in circles over both of us and meowing loudly the whole time. He decided at like 6:30 this morning it was time for everybody to wake up. So he just marched around the bed over and over and over again yelling. So that was fun. I got the temp and humidity sensors on the Grove Fort. That's cool. I need to look at that. I need to look at that because that would be fun to get the temp and humidity sensors. I don't even know what that looks like, honestly. Temp humidity sensor system. Man, if I could type voice PE. Let's see what this looks like. Desktop. Can you see it here? Google, fine. Don't. Interesting. Maybe if I go here, will this? The temp sensors for using my air conditioner. It's interesting. Let a cat in or on the cam. So for a while we had a cat. We had to find her a new home. She actually lives with my wife's friend who got her into plants. Who used to hang out on the couch back there a lot. Geez, there we go. Her name was Smudge. She was pure white. And actually not named after the meme cat of like the 2 ladies yelling at the cat, not named after her at all. It was actually she. So our dumb cat that I was talking about a minute ago got pregnant. We didn't know she was pregnant when we adopted her. And when I say adopted her, I mean she moved in. We found her in our garage one day. So we took her in, we got her cleaned up, only to find out that she was very, very pregnant. And then she gave birth to like 6 kittens. We rehomed 5 of them, right? 5? I guess we actually rehomed all of them, but then one of those kind of fell through. We weren't comfortable giving that cat to those people. Great people, they just weren't in a place to take on a new cat. So we actually ended up keeping him. He's the one that like curls up with me. His name is Anubis. But one of the white kittens went to the woman who used to live next door. She was in her late 60s, early 70s, and when this kitten was born, she was pure white, except for like one black spot on her head, and it looked like an oil smudge. So she just called her Smudge. And then, of course, the meme of the white cat yelling and the two ladies yelling. That cat's name was also Smudge. Just real serendipitous or something there. But anyway, she used to hang out on the couch back here quite a bit, and that sort of thing. But yeah, so I've definitely had cats on stream in the past. It's just been a while. We had to rehome her. She was causing a lot of turmoil with the others, so she's doing better at her new place, and we get to see her every once in a while when we go over there. So yeah, it is what it is. But they're just sorry. Moving on, they're just generic sensors that connect to the Grove ports. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to take a look at that because that would be kind of fun. Home Assistant official. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find some Grove port. Oops, Grove port. Let's see, humidity. Is it like something like one of these? That like I've never actually popped the bottom of that off, so I don't know what that looks like inside. I don't have a pry tool with me to do it. But is it basically just like one of these that like plugs in like via a cable like this one? Yeah, so something kind of like this, I guess. Oh, it's probably this sensor right here. That would be my assumption anyway. Oh, yeah, I guess you can. There we go. Yep. All right, cool. Yeah, I might have to take a look at that, just so I can add some more functionality. The other thing that I've noticed that I've had an issue with regards to this Home Assistant thing with this device is that even though I've got Ollama set up to use, there'll be YAML work. It doesn't surprise me. One of the issues that I've had with this is I can't get the Home Assistant voice PE to search the web. Now I've got Ollama set up to search the web, but I think that's actually via Open Web UI. So even though I've got Open Web UI set up to use the web, I guess via the Docker Compose, that doesn't go back to Ollama, which then doesn't go back to the Home Assistant voice. So as far as being an AI assistant and the ability to say, hey, what's the GDP of France? There's really no way for, at least right now, there's no way for the Home Assistant voice to get me that information. And that, I think, not that I ask that question very often, but it would be nice to have it be able to search the web so that if I ask it, like, what's the population of Colorado? It can give me more up-to-date information. So I would really like to be able to do that, I think, before I make the full switch. But we'll see what happens. I would like that to happen, but I don't know when or how that can happen, at least not right now. So anyway, that's more rambling, more of me just kind of going. Brendan says, I want to make a big home lab, but I'm always worried about security and bad actors trying to get into my applications. Yeah. So what I did to help with that is I made this video. Let me come into here. I know you can't see my screen right now. It's fine. Say copy link address. So the way I help keep people out of my systems is using that. I'll share it in both locations, maybe, if I can find Twitch. There it is. I'll share this over here as well. I use that method to keep to restrict access to, or to restrict who has access to my stuff. Says web voice search only work through OpenAI and Google AI plugin. Yeah, and I don't know that I necessarily trust that. And not that statement. I'm not saying I don't trust what you just said. But I don't know that I trust, like, let me see if I can find this. Oh geez, really? Yeah, I understand that. If I come into here, I can find it. Console. Docker Compose, right? So like, if I come into here, this is the Docker Compose for my old Llama setup. That's got the NVIDIA GPU in there with Open Web UI. And if we come down to here, we can actually see right here that I've got searching or CirxNG or whatever it's called. I've got that set up. I've actually got it deployed. And Open Web UI can use that to search for things in theory. But like if I do, let me just do 192.168.0. Oh, darn it, you suck. Let's do this. 269, and then on port 8181. That's not even what I meant to do either, because I am so dumb. It's on port 3000. It's on port 3000. Really? There we go. So like here, who is the content creator who goes by tech, right? And this is using Llama 3.2, and even there, like even this isn't searching for it. Like when I go like this, I can ask this the same question. And it should, in theory, yeah, like this is returning relevant stuff about me, DB Tech, but this doesn't. And again, here I've got my searching or Cirx or whatever. I've got this set up in there, but I have to wonder now, because it's not adding. Damn it! There we go. This question mark Q equals query isn't part of this self-hosted search engine anymore, unless you come into here, and then it is. So, I wish it would actually show me that to give me faith in what it's doing there, because again, this isn't even working. Oh, here we go. And see, now randomly it works. Now, the DB Tech is a YouTube personality and tech reviewer who creates content about technology, gaming, and pop culture. He's known for his in-depth reviews, analysis, commentary on various tech topics, products, games, and other related topics. His channel has gained significant following over the years, widely recognized within the online community as an expert knowledge personality in technology and gaming. I don't do gaming, so even this isn't correct. Like, I don't know where it's getting this information. So, voice only works, right? What is the problem? Right? I do use conference. Let's see. Mako says, "How you doing?" Hey, Mako, how you doing? Glad to have you here. Your older emulation-related videos, that is asking for a lawsuit from Nintendo, unfortunately. The retro emulation stuff is... oh, maybe you're right. No, maybe that's what it was. I haven't touched a retro. I don't know, man. Are you using an old Open Web UI version? I don't know, maybe. Is there a way to see in here which version I'm using? Download artifacts overview. That doesn't tell me much. This doesn't really tell me much. Settings. About 065. Let's look there. Yeah, this was from 5 days ago. This is 065. So I'm not. I don't know if I've screwed something up in my settings or what the case is. So being able to getting them to work together, I may have to look, and it may be that the let's see, Open Web UI Docker. Let's see, Docker Compose. Let's look at this. Maybe I should need to update this. This. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where. Docker Compose. Playwright. I don't know what that is. Docker Compose with. Here. Maybe. This doesn't really tell me a whole lot. I may have to dig more into this. Oh yeah, here, it's right here. And like all of this is part of that, right? Like I've got all of this in my Docker Compose here. This enable RAG web search engine, results count, concurrent requests. Like all of that is here. I've bumped the results count from 3 to 5, but all of that is in there. But even still, it doesn't want to seem to search. Maybe if I do this, maybe if I can figure out where my stuff is here. There we go. Search for DB Tech, creator DB Tech. And now it's saying that my name is Daniel Diaz. Yeah, I got nothing, man. Yeah, so I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, like over here, you can't see that because I haven't done it. But yeah, it says that I'm Daniel Diaz here. It doesn't really give me a lot of information. I don't know how to make it do the thing. It's whatever. It's been years. Been watching your Docker app videos a lot. Got some new great apps I can run in my home lab. Thanks to your cool, man. I'm really glad those are helpful. Don't know why Nintendo such. It does make sense. They don't give people a better way to obtain the games without piracy. Yeah, that's. Brennan makes a good point. He says, I don't know why Nintendo is against emulation so much. It doesn't make sense. They don't want people doing it if they don't give people a better way to obtain the old games without piracy. That's it. That's the problem. That's why so many people are doing what they're doing. It's why they're putting out these huge collections of ROMs for different systems and platforms and that sort of thing. Is because there's some of these games you just can't get anymore. And they're not going to re-release them. They're not going to, and I say that like on the Switch, they've released a bunch of old games that you can play there. But even then, it's still on a whim. It's still at any point those can go away. They can be like, oh, well, we don't want to have all of these available anymore, or we don't have this sub-license from Konami to have this game anymore, so it's gone away again. So it goes back to the idea of you'll pay for everything, you'll own nothing, and you'll like it. And that's and that sucks. That sucks a lot. When you go to Amazon and you buy when you go to Amazon and you buy a movie, right? All you're doing is buying the privilege to watch that movie whenever you want until they remove it. And it's like, well, no, I paid you $20 for that. You know, like I paid you X number of dollars for so I could watch that when I want to, or you know, whether it's Apple or whatever. And it's like, well, I paid you money so I can have access to that when I want it. And just because you lost the license doesn't mean I should lose the license. Or if you lose the license, then I should get some prorated amount back to me because I paid you, you made that money, and now I don't get to keep that. I think it's a garbage system that we're in. And I think there's a lot of justification for sailing the high seas in that regard. I don't necessarily think it's you're renting a license and not physical media anymore. With piracy, it's a double-edged sword. It's great for obtaining old content with information, etc. But on the other hand, older creators don't get paid anymore for it, and it stinks. I agree. I think there are ways around that, though. Like, let's say you've got you've got a movie creator that you really like, you've liked for a long time. But let's say that creator lost ownership of one of his movies. He doesn't own that movie anymore, and this other company owns it and refuses to give it up. And there's no way to buy that movie any longer without going, you know, to a secondhand shop to buy the DVD or whatever. And even then, you're not guaranteed that you're going to get it. So let's say you then acquire that particular instance of that movie so that you can watch it at home whenever you want to. There are other things that you can do to help support that creator. Let's say that creator were to release a third installment of a series of movies he's released over the last 30 years. Let's say he goes on tour with his third movie in that series. You can then go see that person live in concert where he will do an introduction. You can then watch the movie. He does a Q&A afterwards, and then he's got merch that you can buy. You can support that creator that way. And I think help alleviate maybe some of that guilt of the media acquisition by paying for the new thing and buying merch. They'll make more money doing it that way than they would have if you had bought the DVD 20 years ago. So there's always ways that you can do that. Like you can buy T-shirts, you can buy physical things from those creators because they mark those up to compensate the difference of what they're not making on the streaming services very often. So if you want to support a creator, go buy their merch. And I don't just mean YouTube creators. I don't just mean Twitch creators or TikTokers or whatever. If there's a band, if there's a director who is in one of these situations where they don't have access to their IP any longer, there are still ways that you can support them to offset that instance of media acquisition. Let's see, Brennan says he uses a method with movies. I go and rent the DVD, Blu-ray disc and put it in my machine. Yeah, I used to do that with Netflix. I haven't done that in a really, really long time. I had a Netflix account from like 2006 until last year. And I would go through, 10 discs a week. I was on the 3-disc plan, and I could usually get 6 to 10 discs a week, or 6 to 9 discs a week, copied and put into my personal collection. I haven't been to a video rental store in longer than I can possibly remember, but I used to go that route as well. I don't even have any of those discs anymore. But yeah, there's always ways that you can support creators. That's why I don't feel too bad, because I paid to see it. Yeah, there's always ways that you can still support your favorite creators. Again, whether it's music, movies, whatever, there's always ways you can still support them. Use a program called Play On. It allows you to DVR streaming content. And that's kind of cool. I kind of dig that. Though I have to wonder, like, are you getting, say, all 6 audio channels? Are you getting HDR when it's available? Like, are you getting the full raw file, or are you getting whatever is available when you happen to stream it on your computer in that moment? Or whatever service you're using on it. I'd be curious about that. Because I've always wondered, I've always wondered about, some of these sites that have access to, the HDR version of something with the 6-channel Dolby Atmos. Like, I've always wondered how they managed to do that. So DB says, with the death of Redbox, I don't think there's much rental Blu-ray places left. Yeah, I don't know. I've never actually used a Redbox. Let's see, DVD rental. There's DVD N-Box. Cafe DVD. I've never even heard of this. Rent by mail. It looks like there are still some services out there. Gamefly is still a thing. I didn't know Gamefly was still a thing. That is bonkers to me. Had no idea this was still a thing. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, had no idea. Anyway. Well, I think I am running out of steam here. So anyway, I think I'm gonna start wrapping some of this up. Like I said, I've got some ideas for some content. We're gonna do Hortus Fox. We're gonna do locally hosted AI and Home Assistant. I still need to do a follow-up video on the full setup that I've got down here with my with this mini PC. I'm actually really happy with it. It's super quiet. Can't hear it. It idles beautifully. Everything has worked flawlessly this whole time, so I'm pretty happy with that. I got a computer, flashed a Blu-ray reader, put it in, spun up automatic ripping machine on it. Nice, that's cool. Yeah, Collins you should have yours. You and Nighthawk should both have yours Monday, roughly the same time, early Monday. So that should be good. Hopefully, like, honestly, dude, I had a panic attack, almost, not quite a panic attack. Like, after I shipped everything, because I was 100% sure that I swapped your devices in the boxes. I'm 100% sure I did that. I'm also 100% sure that I didn't. But if that happened, let me know and I'll refund some money to cover the costs. But I've got this weird anxiety thing that I swapped, that I got the PCs in the wrong boxes. But I'm almost 100% sure I didn't. But I'm almost 100% sure that I did. So hopefully I didn't screw that up. That'd be awful. But yeah, so I gotta make the video about this new setup and how I've ditched the old setup, because I'm trying to kind of like level my game up with Minis Forum, because I've got plans for something that I want to do hopefully soon. So yeah, we've been at this an hour or 51 minutes longer than I thought we were gonna. My plan was for an hour. We're an hour and 51. So thank you to everybody who stopped by today to hang out with me for a bit. I super appreciate you being here. Again, if you haven't already and you want to give the video a like over there on YouTube, that'd be awesome. If not, no worries. But again, thank you to everyone who hung out today and who participated and whatnot. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to try to get some content out this week, but I don't know. I'm going to try. Kenneth, thank you for joining as a new member. Appreciate that. Anyway, you guys take care. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you as soon as I possibly can. Talk to you soon.